MMA is full of excitement, thrills and agony. All around the world, people gather to watch two people compete in a cage or a ring. In its brief history, there have been thousands of MMA fights, however there are a few that stand out, and not for the right reasons. So here, at Fight Footage, we have brought you 10 of the weirdest events to happen in MMA fights. Number 10. This has happened quite a few times now in MMA, and the instance we bring you is from Ruckus in the Cage, Beckley, West Virginia, United States, 2015. MMA fighter Travis the Brown Bomber Wolford exploded poop over the cage floor during his bout with Daniel Cooper. Not only did he lose control of his bowels, sadly he also lost the fight. Number 9. There have been some weird and wonderful submissions pulled off in MMA over the years, but perhaps none as unusual as the Boston Crab. It's a professional wrestling move that is effectively a spinal lock. On September the 30th, 2017, John O'Mears became the first fighter in mixed martial arts history to win a fight with the Boston Crab at Full Contact Contender number 19 in the UK. Number 8. Forrest Griffin faced off against Tito Ortiz for the third time at UFC 148, July the 7th, 2012. After the fight had finished, Forrest assumed he had lost and ran out of the cage into the crowd. Dana White had to run out to get him back in for the official decision. After the decision was announced, and Forrest had actually won, Forrest snatched the mic from Joe Rogan and did Tito's post-fight interview, totally ruining Tito's retirement speech. Number 7. It takes nerves of steel to get in the cage and fight. However, at some stage during the fight and for whatever reason, Claudini Angelo did the opposite and ran out of the cage mid-fight. Suddenly during the fight, Angelo called time and began looking for a way out of the cage. The door was locked, so he literally scaled the wall and was off. Apparently he was annoyed with the referee not doing anything about his opponent's eye pokes. Whatever the case, he was gone. Number 6. Nasty injuries are common in most sports and MMA is no exception. Many different bones have been broken during combat, however this was during the main event of UFC 168, a fiercely anticipated rematch between the Spider-Goat Anderson Silva and the man who took his crown, Chris Weidman. It was also a UFC pay-per-view card, meaning this leg break was seen by more people than any other. That moment when we realise our heroes in the cage are human after all. Number 5. Like the leg break at number 6, this has happened on more than one occasion but is still very rare. Double knockouts. The perfect timing where two fighters landed at exactly the same time. This occasion was at Shamrock FC 285, where Axel Caceres and Alan Vasquez both knocked each other out by throwing a cross at the same time. Yet it was Vasquez who was deemed the winner because he was the first to get up. Number 4. Referees have been punched, choked and grappled during MMA fights for a variety of reasons. It's not part of the job but an unavoidable danger at times. However, in this instance, during a Valor Fights event in 2008, the referee for the fight, Casey Oxendine, actually knocked out a cornerman during a fierce debate after the fight had ended. After that, as you can see, chaos ensued. Number 3. Fighters attacking each other before the actual bout is not too unheard of. Pushes, punches and projectiles are often being thrown in the lead up to the fight. However, at K1 Dynamite 2005, as the fighters were facing off and the ref was going through the rules for one last time, Yoshihiro Nakao leant forward and kissed his opponent Heath Herring. Herring, clearly not down with this, shook his head and threw a tight right hook to the kisser of Nakao that knocked him clean out. The fight was classed as a no contest and I doubt Nakao will try that again. Number 2. Martial arts is full of people professing to perform no-touch knockouts, but this time it actually happened. James Vake and Michael McDaniel fought at XFC in Australia. The two were battling on the ground. Vake goes for an armbar and McDaniel slams his way out of it. After which, McDaniel, who had been doing better in the stand-up, backs off as he wants the fight standing again. As he backs off, he drops code like he had been knocked out. It seems the slam and getting up so quickly caused McDaniels to pass out. He was fine after the bout, having time to recover. Number 1. All sports is about getting the W, a term we have heard many times in MMA. However, in this rare occasion, in what embodies true sportsmanship, a winning fighter tapped out. Mike Pantango took on Jeremy Rasner at a Prison City Fight League event in 2014. Pantango was dominating the fight and was landing at will on Rasner when he suddenly backed off, squat down and tapped lightly on the cage floor. Pantango said after the fight, "I just feel there's no point in fighting him because he didn't train against me and I didn't train for him. I just feel like we're amateur fighters and we don't get money, we don't get paid." What a guy. Well, that's the end of the countdown. Thanks very much for watching the video and don't forget to subscribe.